Cette conférence va maintenant être enregistrée.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining this new session, and I see there are many new people that were not with us last time, so welcome. We will drop straight away into a few more information about the program, so the people that are joining us today can be aware of what's happening in Epidemium globally and in this session more specifically. So welcome again, welcome to the panelists. Thank you for being here so close to the weekend. We'll try to be as brief as possible, but there's quite a lot of things we would like to transmit to you. As you have probably heard, this session is recorded, so if you don't want to share your cam, please be sure to let it off during all the session, as we will publish this on YouTube channel for people that couldn't attend this session. So thank you again. Very briefly, the program for tonight will have a short introduction. Then we have the pleasure to have people from the JOGL community. Paige, who is with us, will explain a bit more about how to enter into the platform, how to join the other community tools such as Slack and Dataiku. Then we have the honor to have Professor Cécile Padoil, who just arrived. Thank you. And we will have a few drawbacks from Mehdi, who will explain us more about how can you jump into creating a project with the tools that we have presented you just before. Challenge 2, we have Bastien Rance and Hector Contouris, who I saw Hector. Bastien is probably joining us. Also Julien Guérin from the JOGL Institute, and Mehdi again to explain the challenge. Then a few more information about the upcoming events. You can already note that we will have another session specifically dedicated to create teams and meet people this Wednesday, 22nd, 6 o'clock. So if you want to be with us and be accompanied for that, please be welcome. Open talks then, so every participant can take maybe 1 minute to present why he is here and maybe what he needs on this challenge to begin. So yes, we'll have probably 1 hour and a half. So please free to grab a drink or something to eat, maybe if you want to be with us till the end. Thank you again. Epidemic program for everyone again is an open science program, meaning that every results will be shared with the community with an open source license. Launched in 2015, this program is basically intended to let people participate in science and be producers of contents that can help science or that can be science. That's why we'd like to accompany projects into publication. And for that, we have a nice team of people that are co-founders of the Epidemium program, being Olivier Defrenois, Mehdi Benchoufi. I'm also within the people that kind of started all a few years ago, with Thomas also, who is not present with us tonight, but represented by Paige. I'd like to thank specifically Aude Rochereau, who was the preparation project manager for this session. So thank you for all the amazing job she did for the last months. Again, Alexandre Carlo, who will present us the Dataiku solution, and Jonathan about all the legal aspects of the program. So thank you. Also to our partners, of course, Roche, who is the main mecene for this season and all the precedents too. So thank you for believing into this project and believing into all the outcomes we believe we can have for these specific sessions, being the medical impacts we try to have, implicating the participants into more, I would say, medical data, directly effective data. We hope it will be a game changer for this season. I won't cite everyone, sorry, just thank you for the partners at PHP for the publication of the data. Of course, we have introductions from the medics, Canceropol, Institut Curie, Capcode, and the technical partners, just one giant like JOGL, Octopi for the animation of data, and Dataiku, who is providing us free access to their platform for all the participants. So thanks again. Of course, we won't forget the committees with the ethic committee and the scientific committee who are here to assess all the questions related to how program be presented and how should he be also related to partners like publication review or other partners specifically for the data contents, and be sure that everything is consistent. What kind of outcomes do we expect from this program? The idea is that you can meet people. So this is, of course, a network of partners. We have medics. There are a lot of people in data science, of course, but also people that do not know anything about health. And that's quite good too, because many people want to involve into helping science and helping to fight cancer. And that's exactly what Epidemion is. It's an open challenge. So please be welcome and be free to join teams that are going to be created, or that maybe you want to create, even if you're not a specialist, you may have things to say or to give to the community. So welcome again. Dataset, of course, we'll talk more about that very soon, and I won't be too long on this part. We'd like to accompany you to publication for the projects that are scientifically consistent. So there is a methodology and people that can guide you to that. It's not that easy. It's not also that hard. So if you want to take the chance to leverage what you have been doing so far, or if you just want to have other partners for publication, it's exactly the right place for that. How to participate? That's maybe one of the biggest questions. If you want to have more information, you still have this, I would say, central point of JOGL. We'll be presenting it to you very soon, but basically you can already create a profile on app.jogl.io. Of course, you select the program Epidemion, and you will see everything which is going on. Do not miss the signature of the term uses or conditions générales d'utilisation. If you speak French, we have both languages in this session, so you can select whatever language you prefer when it comes to use the app JOGL platform. And then we expect you to join also the Slack channel, so we can exchange a bit more within participants if you have some questions or anything. But the main entry point is JOGL. Then, when you have signed the CGUs, we will provide you access to the data, specifically data for the challenge 1. And yes, let's get back to this slide. How does it work exactly? Of course, the idea is that you develop a project and document it. We have two ways to do that, but basically this is GitHub or GitLab, so you can produce all the results on those platforms, on your choice, and you will be evaluated at the end of the challenge on your poster. So the idea is to get to the publication. So the poster is one of the format science uses to explain what has been done within a special project or a special time. And this is what must be posted on GitHub or GitLab at the end of the channel of the program. So here is the timeline. We are still at the very beginning of the program. So if you know any people that would be interested into giving feedbacks or being part of the community to help participants, or being one of the participants, or anyone who has questions about maybe joining or maybe helping the program, please be free to give them any link that you think would be best, probably the JOGL.io platform. And we will then have a closure of the challenge the 25th of November. And then the jury will select the best project that will be accompanied to our publication in the very beginning of 2022. Within this, we have a lot of good things to come, a lot of presentation, a very deep way to enter the Dataiku also application with professionals from Dataiku. I can explain you this a bit longer. And we will also have an update event at the end of October. It will be probably at Roche's place. And within that, as it's becoming possible to meet physically, we will give you a few dates to propose you physical meetings. So we have decided to get back to physical meetings that would be great for many people, and we will communicate more soon about this. But this is an official announcement, so we are happy to tell you we will get back to nice moments also of chat and of meeting each other's as it seems to be possible again. So I would like to let the floor to Paige, who will be presenting JOGL more deeply.
Thanks, Mark.
And yes, I just have to let you the participant option to let your slides be visible. I think you don't have it yet. So, okay, normally we should be good now.
Yes, now I'm able to share my screen. Thank you.
Perfect. So we're explaining a bit your role within the community and the role of the platform, of course. I let you the floor to explain all the implications.
Yes, thank you. So can you see my screen? Hello?
Not yet.
No, it's not working. Okay. Let's see. Is this working?
Not yet.
No, still can't see it. Okay, I am.
I can try something else. I can design you as organizer choose. So maybe, oh yes, it's working now. That's
okay.
Good. Perfect.
All right. Apologies for that. Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to this program. We're so happy at JOGL to be hosting it. JOGL is all about open research and collaboration, and we've built a platform that does just that. So I'm going to take you on a little exploration of JOGL, specifically catered to you as an epidemium participant. And if you haven't already, this is the page to kind of land on, app.jogl.io. And you'll want to click this little sign up button, create a profile, and it'll be very easy. You'll be taken through an onboarding process that'll show you the various features of JOGL, but I'll let you do that in your own time. So essentially, this is the page you land on. It's the home page. You can always access it by clicking this little button here, the JOGL logo. I'm sorry, my computer's now slow because I'm sharing my screen. But basically on your left here, there's the feed, which is all the programs and people that you follow. If they post anything, it'll appear here. But what you're very interested in right now is the program page, Epidemium Season 3. So if it loads, that'd be great. So what we're going to be landing on is the program homepage. What we want to do is click follow and join. I'm just wondering because I prepped it. Do you see this tab now? Have I changed tabs for you?
Not yet.
No. Okay. Okay. Okay, so anyway, you'll be landing on this page. So yes, what you'll want to do is click
right now. Yeah.
Join button and the follow button. The reason why is because joining the program will allow you to submit a project, and following the program will allow you to get all the updates. So this tab here is where you'll see all the updates. We've been posting about the kind of events that are happening, but we might also post about deadlines and things like that. And this is the tab where you can explore the challenges that are happening. There's 2 of them at the moment. This is the tab where you can click and submit a project. And this is the tab where you can see all the other members in the program. So as you can see, the next steps are obviously to sign the terms and conditions. That's mandatory for absolutely everyone who's signing, and you can access them through this little link here. But you'll also be able to join the Slack using this link, and Slack is the place where you'll be able to interact freely with all the other participants and kind of get to meet each other through direct messages or not, and start forming teams, see who you want to form teams with. And yeah, once you have formed a team, you can kind of create, find a team name and create a project. So that'll be this little button here, and it'll take you to this tab. Right here. It's very easy. Team name, short team name, and then this is where you'll be able to kind of write your little description of who your team is and what you're intending to do, and then click next, 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 and what you'll have is eventually a project page that looks like this. And so there you go. You'll have all your team members here, your little short description there, your team name as the main title, and you'll be able to, JOGL is your presentation page, basically. So it's a summary of everything that you're working on, and you can use these kind of elements to fill out your page. So yeah, once that's done and you've signed the Google form that you can find here as well, you can start accessing kind of all the data and with your team really do the research and slowly update your JOGL profile page, project page. You can continue attending the events, obviously, that Mark's been talking about. Ask us questions along the way, give us feedback on the process. And yeah, remember there's until the 25th of November to really do all of this. And that's it for kind of the little JOGL demo.
Thank you, Paige. Thanks a lot for this brief introduction. We'll have, I think, more time and more dedicated accompaniment if needed for you, as you proposed next Wednesday, to guide people directly if there is any question for that. It's quite straightforward, basically, but if you need any help, we'll be pleased to help you. So just join us on next Wednesday, and we'll also have a few moments for people to meet each other. So it will not only be a technical session, but also a moment where you can chat a bit with others and maybe create your team, and we can guide you also on what type of things you need to do to create your project or your team on the platform directly if there is any question. So yes, please note this Wednesday. Thanks again. I will just share a very short slide, which is, I think, not that necessary, but still, we'll do it. As we told you, the entry point is JOGL, and once you have signed the CTUs, we expect you to join the Slack channel of Epidemium. Obviously, I think many of you know about Slack tools, so I won't be making a demo of Slack. It would be quite a nonsense, but still, for maybe some of you that haven't used the tool before, you need to create an account, and then with the link provided, you can have your own access to. And that's the important point I just wanted to stress about. You will have access to the general channel. So you probably see it here on the left. You have access to different channels, but you have to subscribe to channels if you want to have the information contained within. So that's just a small point about this chat application, which is quite straightforward apart from that. So no much further explication, but you can share your questions, your views, your ideas, anything you think is needed. You will also have your questions about data and the Dataiku platform. You can ask us on the Slack. So hopefully we're quite reactive on this, and this will be a more day-to-day way to be in touch with the team, while the JOGL platform will be much more about gathering information and building your project. The third step is about accessing data. We'll be talking more about first and second challenge very soon. But related to the first challenge, you see we have a specific data set that has been built and anonymized by Octopies for use. So built by the IPHP and the team of Sept Dec, of course, but anonymized by Octopies. And you will have the opportunity to access it, as we'll explain you shortly, as long as you have signed the CGUs. And we told you again, it's quite mandatory, so don't miss this step. Otherwise, we can't create you any account. It's done manually, so be aware that it will take a few days probably for you to access. But as soon as you are logged in, it will be possible for you to create a team and have access to the data. So without more explanation, I will let the floor to Alexandre, who should be able to take directly the screen share.
Okay, so
and thank you. So Alexandre is part of the Epidemium team and in charge of data. We can maybe present you briefly, Alexandre.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the right window to share.
Sure.
Okay. So now it should be okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Alexandre. I'm the Epidemium's data scientist, and I will be showing you how to use Dataiku, which is our interface to visualize data, run models, use our computing power. You can have access to a lot of things. So first, I will sign out to show you the page that you access when you click on the link. You will have access to this page. The link is data3.epidemium.org. So once you will have filled you will have accepted the CGUs, then an account will be created for you. Here I already have one, so I'm cheating a little bit. Okay, so then you will access this page where you can see actual projects. Here, there is an example project which is called Datas, where you can see every data available for the challenge ORL AI. So here you can also see that you can create a new project for your team, and there you can have you could develop models and stuff of the kind. First, I will show you the Datas. So here you arrive on a landing page for the project. You have a small description with instructions. Here you will have a to-do list to show you the way to start using Dataiku. So to see the data, you have two data sets here, which are the data sets of clinical data anonymized by Octopies. Here you have the trained data that you can visualize very easily. This is a variable to predict. Oops, sorry, I did it once too much. And here you can have access to the test data. So it's okay for the clinical data. So now I will show you the images. To access the images, you will have to click on the flow of the data project and then double click on the core ORL image. You will have access to every folder. One folder represents a marker, but I will let the medical team explain it better afterwards. So when you click on a folder, unfortunately, we have images that are in TIFF format, and Dataiku is not able to show you a preview. But for the JPEG images, you will be able to see a preview. To download the images, you will only have to click on the download here. I will not do it because we have a lot of files and it will take a lot of time. Then when you have created your project, you will see on the flow and a small, oops, sorry, go to flow. I'm sorry, there was a little issue. Then when you will access Dataiku, you will have to create a new project while clicking on this button. Select a project name, for instance, test here. And then you can import the dataset from the data project. So, oops, here. Sorry, I misclicked. And oops. Yeah, through the upload your file. But before uploading your file, you will have to download it from the data project. Here, oops, you can click on the dataset, and then you will have an export button. Oops, you can do it here. I will just show you for one of the two datasets because otherwise it's the same process. And then in your test project, click on import your first dataset, upload your file, and then you just have to sorry, I'm on Mac, so, and then you only have to drag and drop your file here and click on create. So it's the same process for the other one, and you will have a more detailed presentation of Dataiku later, showing you all the capabilities such as AutoML and statistics, sampling, and many other nice features. So I will give the presentation back to Mark.
Yes, thank you. Thanks a lot. We will have a very detailed explanation of how Dataiku works and what you can do with it. This is scheduled for not next week, but weeks after. We are trying to push Dataiku's team to do it a bit earlier if possible, but so far it is scheduled on the 28th. So we'll get back to that in the agenda, of course. But we will share a lot of things, and as you know, Dataiku is quite a consistent tool. There are many things you can do with it, so you can also use it for your own purpose, I would say, in the time of this challenge, of course, related to the first or the second challenge. I'd like to get the floor to Professor Cécile Badoil. If you are here, I think I saw you coming. So,
yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to share with you some. I don't know if you see my screen.
I designed you as a presenter. It should be all right now.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'm absolutely sorry. My voice is just awful. I'm ill, and I'm not COVID. I'm not COVID, please, but there's another virus in Paris for the moment, and I've got it. So anyway, I'm going to try slowly to explain to you what is going on. Please ask me some question if you've got some, because I'm going to speak about head and neck squamous cell carcinoma, and then I'm going to focus on my presentation, try to be fluid and understandable for you to try to explain you what you will have to do. I don't know, is that okay or not? Because I have for the moment. There's a problem with the sharing.
Yes, it was all right. It still is all right. Still, we have it in not in full screen. So if you maybe can switch back to full screen, it would be perfect.
I try. Sorry, I try to have it with the full screen, but
yes, that's good.
That's it.
We have it.
Yeah, but when I change my slide, it stops. I don't know why. So I'm going to try to do no. I don't know why.
That seems all right.
No, I'm going to do the slide one. So wow, I've got it. So there's two information you've got to know. I'm so sorry with my voice. The two information you've got to know. The first one is about HPV. HPV, you are aware about this virus because it is involved in a lot of cancer, and you know about the cervix. And it's well known because vaccination is done for the girls still a long time to fight and to prevent the infection by this virus. And all the cancer in the cervix are due to HPV infection. And then after you've got at least 5% of all the cancer all over the world due to an infection by HPV. So you can find cancer in the cervix, as I just said, in the vulva, vagina, anus, perineal, and it's very rare, and the oropharynx. So we're going to focus on the fact that you can have some HPV infection in the oropharynx, because you're going to play with oropharyngeal slides. So what you've got to do about oropharynx, we call that the squamous cell carcinoma. It's the main sort of cancer you've got in this location. And as you can see in this slide and in the map, you've got an infection just mostly in well, the north of the map and the of North America and North Europe, you can find the more cases of oropharyngeal cancer, and this oropharyngeal cancer are mainly due to tobacco and alcohol consumption, but and they still are the main risk factor. It's not the truth, for example, in America, where you have another risk factor, and the main risk factor is the HPV, and it's the same for France. In France, we've got 30% of the cases of the oropharynx due to HPV. So HPV infection is due to sexual habits, and you've got an infection in the tonsil, and the oropharynx is located at the back of the of your mouth, and then it's located where you have the tonsil and your base tongue. And we can find, it can be awful for you to hear me, but anyway, you've got an increase of oropharyngeal squamous cell carcinoma, or PSCC, and linked to the high-risk HPV. And this infection is mostly found in the developed countries. So HPV oropharyngeal cancer are a cancer epidemic in the 21st centuries. So that's why we also a few years ago that not only girls have to be vaccinated, but also guys. So that's why, because the oropharyngeal cancer is mostly found in men, and so you've got at least for this cancer, younger patient with no tobacco or a very small consumption of tobacco, and it's increasing. It's mostly male, young at about 50 years old, and we can find the mostly HPV 16 as the main genotype, and these cancers are associated with a better prognosis. So in this slide, I don't know if you can find my arrow. You can see it or not. And there, you hear me?
Yes, we can.
But can you see my arrow or not?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, so these oropharyngeal cancer are just located there, just after. Well, you've got the mouth, and then you've got the tongue, and after the tongue, you've got the tonsil and the base tongue. So we can find this cancer there, due or not to HPV. So we in our lab work a lot about the fact that how these different cancer due to an infection due to HPV, why they are associated with a better prognosis. And among these different cancers due to HPV, some have a better prognosis than others. So the challenge is dedicated to patients with a neurofaringeal cancer, and all are due to HPV, but some have a huge expression of the HPV, and we're going to focus on what is a huge expression, and others have a slow expression of the HPV on their different cells. So to try to explain the fact that among this population, why some of them will just have a very good survival and some will have a very quick evolution of their cancer and die. So, and as I say to you, these patients have are young, mostly young, and some of them smoke, and the other no. So that's why you've got the information about the this book, the smoking consumption and the importance of the consumption. So to explain why there's differences among these cancer, one of the main thing is to perhaps all the different cells all around the tumor cells are involved in the fight or not against the tumor. And these different cells are called immune cells, cellules inflammatoires, because we want you to be really good in French, so for some information you will have them in French, so it's cellules inflammatoires, immune cells. And among these immune cells, you know some of them, the lymphocytes, the macrophages, and among these different cells, some are tagged by receptor and play a very important role. So it's your goal will be to try to explain how these different cells fight against the tumor, and if the fact that they are near or not the tumor cell, or if there are some interaction between the different cells, if this it is quite a cell social network, play a role and is involved in the survival of the different cells. So in this slide, you can see the tumor cells, and all around the cells, you can find different immune cells, and we have tagged, stained them with different receptors. So some of the inflammatory cells have an pro-tumoral effect, and some have an anti-tumoral effect. So you will have to find if this network is against tumor and or just is very permissive and pro-tumoral. We say that there's a pro-tumoral microenvironment. I'm going to have just a stop because. So we've targeted research to find these different cells. Some are very rare, some are very important and very well known to play roles, and you will have all of them stained by immunochemistry, and it's a very specific immunochemistry, because I'm not going to go deeply to explain to you all of these, but here you've got tumor cells, and then here you've got immune cells, but some of the immune cells are mixed with the tumor cells. So using this very specific immunochemistry, we've got all the cells stained in the same slide. So you will have plenty of information, and you've got when you use a different color, you've got all these slides with different colors, because there's an expression of the different cells. But you will have all the cells stained in red, and then you will have to select which color you want. And here you've got a tonsil with a proliferation. There's a squamous cell carcinoma. And then we, in the lab, have tagged this slide and selected some stamped, small stamped, where you will have all the different cells stained in this different stamp. So for a patient, you've got 1 to 4 stamps available for you to do the challenge. And then when you go deeply in the different information you've got, so we use immunochemistry, and for each stamp, you've got 7 staining with 1 to 6 inflammatory cells. So you will have the different cells. And you will have the 6 images available for challengers. So inflammatory cells 1, 2, 3 with the tumoral cells, and inflammatory 4, 5, 6. So here you've got an example of a combining of IC2 and IC3, because some of the staining can be expressed in the same slide, in the same cell, meaning that there's a combination of the different cells, and then some receptor will can help us to know if these cells are, for example, activated or not, and some staining help us to know exactly what is the definition of the cell, I mean lymphocyte or macrophages. So as I said, you will have some cell, a lot of cells stained for some staining and a few one for other. So a same cell can express multiple immune stainings, and it's normal. So this is IC1, IC2, and IC3, and then you can see that the different cells have the same shape, but sometimes not exactly the same size. So we're going to give you multiple examples for you to just select the right cell size and the right shape. This is plenty of example you can see, and you will have the different tumor cells also mixed with the immune cells. So other example, as you can see, so you can see the difference. So you can have. You will have all the staining in red. You can have cytoplasmic staining, and the cytoplasm, I mean all the round of the cell is stained, and the nucleus can be stained, so it's a dot. So you can also have the tumor cells, and you will have them stained in red also. So we also give you the tissue segmentation to help you. The tissue segmentation can also help you, because you will have the stroma where you will find the staining of the different immune cell and the tumor cell, but sometimes you will have some immune cell in the tumor. And the information to know where are the infiltration is very important. For example, if you want to fight someone, the best is to be extremely close so some of the cells go inside the nest of the tumor to fight the tumor proliferation. So you will have also a staining, which is called DAPI, and DAPI is not at least is a coloration of the DNA, and then for each staining, I mean the difference is, and the staining is a nucleus. So for one staining, one cell. So if you've got a staining and you think, oh, it's a staining, and I think if there's a cell and there's no DAPI inside, so it's a false staining. So please pay attention to the fact when you validate a staining, you have to focus on the fact that there's at the center of the staining always a DAPI. So the clinical data, so the outcome is, does one of or a combination of immunostaining in the or in the tumor can be correlated with a better prognosis, and a better patient survival. So the aim of this challenge is, could it be a prognosis predictive factor, can be used quite routinely, but in research to help to treat the patient. So you will have some clinical data. So at least the staining. So we will give you the fact that they are expressed in density in the stroma and the tumor. You will have the expression of the survival, the overall survival, and the disease-free survival will be in months. And you have to pay attention to the fact that you can have some bias. So they have to you have to must to attention to that and take that consideration to the age of the patient. Even if I say to you that they are younger than the one having a huge alcohol and tobacco consumption, you have the WHO performance status, which is in fact the general health condition. If you are extremely ill, fighting against tumor is far more difficult than if you are young, beautiful, and in a good health. So this is yes, you have to pay attention to. And a TNM staging, TNM is tumor, node, and metastasis, and all of this information are prepared for you to just understand what we say. So it's the size and the extension and the invasion of the tumor, and of course the alcohol and the tobacco consumption. So in the clinical data, you've got also the information about the in situ hybridization with different probes, and this is RNA probes against E6 and E7 HPV. So it's not important for you to know what is it exactly. It's just to show you that for some patients in the tumor, you've got a huge expression of the HPV, and in some other, the expression is really weak. So we have scored the expression of the different HPV in the tumor, even if they are all infected by the HPV, because we know that using PCR, but we also have the expression in the tumor of the RNA of the virus. So this is a very interesting information, and this has to be combined with the different staining. So in conclusion, you will have to say if a staining or a combination of immune cell staining, meaning having a signature, will correlate with the better survival. And this, if this signature, for example, could be in a near future a predictive prognostic factor for oropharyngeal cancer, a factor helping to modulate treatment and care, and to help us to target patients for immunotherapies. So we can say that for oropharyngeal cancer, the future of this cancer is on your hands. Thank you. And sorry for my awful and ugly voice.
No, don't be sorry, Cécile. Thanks a lot for your consistency and your dedication to go to the end of this presentation. Thank you so much. And thanks to your team too. We've been exchanging together today, and we also have provided a few information. Alors, still in French for the moment, but will be translating it very soon. So you have more details and more information already accessible on the JOGL platform. So if you want to have, yes, a bit more lexical information and a bit more context about how it was produced, you can go right away on the JOGL platform. It's already accessible. Again, English will be available very soon. I will let Mehdi complement maybe this part and maybe guide you a bit on what type of threads you can start with, and what type of yes, please, Mehdi, just take the floor.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much, Cécile, for dedication and to be available with such a voice. I didn't know, but it's very fine.
It's awful, you mean? It's awful.
No, not at all. Not at all. Just to say, to go back with Alex to the Dataiku platform. So for me to show you, if Alex, you can show back the way the folder is done for the data. And
yeah, of course.
While you're doing this, just to say to the audience how much challenging is this work. As Cécile said, it's complex to understand what's happening. That's the reason why we choose not only to get like clinical data, but also to get image. And then on the top of the images, you have here, you can stick here, Alex, several markers that you'll have to handle. All the numbers that you saw when Cécile was presenting the stamps, you have here inflammatory cell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6. This is where you'll take the you'll check the data, and if Alex, we go, for instance, in the first folder, like and grab one image here, you see here the red stand for the cells. That's exactly what Cécile was explaining. If we go back on the root folder, even backwards, just to check the clinical data, then you will see all the table that Cécile presented with. So we split for the AI guys, the machine learning guys, the data set between train and test. But obviously, here the challenge is to predict the outcome. If you feel comfortable to have a more deterministic kind of algorithms without any training, feel free, obviously, to go this way. And here at the top of the table, you can see all the items, all your features that you will have to handle, to clean, maybe if you want to see which clinical items are really relevant, and to get rid of all maybe redundant informations. It's up to you. At the very left, Alex, of this table, you will see an ID. Obviously, the ID, so you can stick here, definitely. So on the patient ID side, this is all the work that Octopi's made to make the data anonymized. And this patient ID will be the link for you to connect the clinical data to the images. And so this is where you'll see the connector between the two kind of data. So what is expected from you is to get not only an algorithm working, like to be able to predict a good way the survival, but also to make all the pathologists get a better understanding on how these cells are interacting from one with the others. Is it about the way the topology? Is it about the way they're taking the intensity of the way they're taking stance, and all kind of like feature you can get from your algorithm? This will be really, really relevant and very interesting for the medical community. My last word will be that we are available at any moment. Obviously, you can ping us. We understand that the challenge is complex, and if you want to understand the business logic behind all this stance and all these interactive cells, and if you want to go deeper into the immune system and how we can work and how we can get a better feeling of what is relevant or not when you will be practicing your feature engineering, then obviously we're fully available. So we'll handle the information you would require. We will filter this, make it clean, and interact with Cecile's team. So that's it.
Yes, of course, we are always there with my team and with some researcher to express and to explain if you have any question.
Okay, great. So again, Cecile, thank you very much, and yeah, we can keep on, Mark,
and move on to challenge number 2.
Yeah.
Yes, so thanks again, and yes, hopefully we can answer all your questions on the Slack or during the physical events that are going to come shortly. Just to make it right, I just have a small question, maybe about anonymization. So very briefly, maybe can you explain us a little bit more about that? We have a full intervention from Octopies related to that, but just to be clear to everyone that data that you have access to are not data from patients that are just open, and it's anonymized. We've been saying it, but just yes, maybe a few words about this.
Yeah, it has been a huge work to make this data available in a clean way, and we took really scrupulous care about anonymizing the data and not just releasing the data set as it was. So feel comfortable with that, and if any question, way we handle this, then I'm sure Octopies will be really happy to answer about that. Just from technical point of view, coming back to saying about Dataiku, and as Mark said earlier, you will have an introduction to this in depth. But just for the machine learning guys, you have really all the tools that you need. You have your Python notebook and whatever you need, like for the data scientist tool set. You have also AutoML, which can be in a way something like you want to try on and to see what automatically you can get as a feeling of what could be the outcome. But obviously, the better you go beyond an AutoML thing, it's really much appreciated. But just to say that really you will get all these development environments, ML oriented, which is really perfect fit for your needs.
Thank you so much. Then we will come to challenge number 2. So I think Hector will take the floor right now. If you are with us, I think Bastien is that has been presenting last week. I don't see him, so I assume it's you, Hector Contreras, that is making the presentation today.
I don't know.
Hector. Are you with us?
I can't. Do you find them? Waar ik dan?
I do find him, but I'm not sure he can hear
In the
us.
bottom, waar ik dan?
Okay, yeah, here you are, perfect. Just we don't hear you. I will design you as a presentation owner if you are okay with this. And then we'll see Julien Guérin that will explain us a bit more OSIRIS, but maybe we can go to Hector if it's good to you. So hello, Hector. Yes, we do see your screen.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, thanks a lot. Maybe you can introduce yourself very briefly and yes, Bastien is explaining a bit the institution, but maybe we can get back to basics for people that could be joining us for the first time, as maybe some of the people here hasn't been attending the last events. So yeah, very short reminder. Thanks a lot.
I'll try to be brief, and I'm sorry my presentation is in French because I didn't notice that it had to be in English. So if anything is bothering you, just let me know and I will translate. I'm really sorry for the people that are not used to read French. So I am Hector Kuntois. I'm working at the HGP and APHP more general, working on different subjects, sometimes helping partitions to perform some computer task or to install servers or anything that is related with medical informatics. So I'm working, as you said, with Bastien Rance and with Anita Bapian. And we are now involved in some of the main task to geocode all the patients of APHP. So I will try to be brief as I can because it's late. You still see my screen now, it's projecting. So I just come back from Geodata Days, so I will use this presentation because it's a good introduction to what we do and to the project that we want to share with you, and we hope that it will be interesting to participating. So we are actually yes, we have some issues with the data here in APHP because we want to facilitate and to help the epidemiologists and other practitioners to perform some studies with dashboards and everything, but we don't have the power right now to do it because the patients are not geocoded. So I will explain why is the technological choice that we made, and I will show you some project and one in particular that will be open to you and to your help. And we hope that in the near future we will find the good answers to those medical issues. So our problems from John Snow, that was one of the father of epidemiology that was involved into finding the proper solution for the cholera epidemic in the early 19th century in London, to the John Hopkins University that produced a lot of maps for the COVID. Maybe you had one. Maybe you've seen one. Just until now they are available, but a lot of people used to go on those maps and to see it is actually the best map to see the evolution of COVID around the world. So, but the John Hopkins University claimed that it was also a big work to perform that kind of task and to be able to serve the information daily. So we are 39 hospitals if we are talking for the APHP in general, and if we just talk about how many people are coming in those 39 hospitals, there are 1.3 million people, and our budget's it's up to 7 billion euros. So we are regrouping in different groups, but I will say that it doesn't matter. What matters now is to understand that everything is coming into just one file folder or one patient dataset. So this patient dataset is enriched with different information, either as you saw with Cécile Badoil, Professor Cécile Badoil, with some information with imagery, but you can have different information, and it's also having some address information that we want to work with. So the patient is coming to the hospital and is having this kind of dataset and this kind of information stored into a main data warehouse. So we have access to this data warehouse. In the entire data warehouse is having actually 14 million addresses of patients. That is a huge task because those addresses, those patients are not geocoded. And if you want to do some geodata things, you have to first geocode all of this. So our goals are to, and this is in French, so I will be fast, to provide the raw data to the scientific, so to the practitioners and every epidemiologist that wants to have access to it, and to generate some automatic dashboards, everything. In plus, of course, we have to follow the security rules and to be able to provide those information and to keep the security at a very high level. Innovation is part of our daily work, but also innovation with data science and geo AI or geointelligence. So sometimes you just have the information from the patient, but now because we want to enrich every kind of dashboard that we provide, we want to add some other sources, external sources such as socioeconomic data, environmental data, whatever we can find, in fact. So we did a geocoded procedure that is now almost in production at the central APHP. I won't get into it, but you have to know that you have to be very precise. And in this example, we have, because the address of the patient is collected when he is arriving in the hospital. So, but sometimes he cannot communicate well, or he is having a lack of information. We are having a lack of information. Sometimes the address is the address of the hospital, for example. And if we want to geolocate the patient precisely, we have to have the number of the street. If you don't have the number of the street in front of your address, you can skip a lot of information. As you saw, the two dots, the two green dots, are separated and are not located in the same area. So this is a problem. If you have a patient, obviously he can be ill, he or she can be ill, so you won't be able to locate the patient at the right place. So if you want to apply some policies regarding the protection of the people around this area, you have to be really precise. So we managed to build some rules for the decision and how to provide the data to the scientific afterward. So I won't introduce every step, but we will categorize each and every aspect of the address, and at the end, all the address, the 14 millions, have been geocoded and represent 71% that are available at the IRIS level. So IRIS is the kind of geodata structure that is a level under the department. Let's say you have the region of Île-de-France. This is Paris suburbs, Paris plus suburbs, and you have different subdivisions of this region. And IRIS is a really small division that is really precise. We'll talk about the IRIS later on. So we test everything. We did a benchmark. We test every solution from the classic tools and even Dataiku. But we know that on one side we have the scientifics that are working with Jupyter and R, And on the other side, we want some tools that are able to handle the big volumetry, big data aspect of our data. So we tried some database GPU dashboard here, and we finally choose one that is suitable for our needs, and because we want to be able to be fast, to handle the data with the security, and to get the dashboard as fast as we can. So we did choose the Kinetica tool that is this is not free. This is something that we paid, and we deployed in the central APHP with an on-premise. So it's not a cloud, or it's not external. And this is why we cannot access to some services like Tableau, or like Carto, or some other tools that are great but available only online. This is deployed into the central APHP. This is critical for us as a matter of security. So this database is made also for the future, because we know now that we are just having a storage of patient data, and that of course are related to time. When a patient is coming into the hospital, he is having a time of entrance. But we know that we build this for the future. So there is plenty of functionalities that I won't go into it because it's too much for this presentation. But you can have even mobile apps. You can manage your cluster. You can have dashboards. You can do everything that you want. In fact, this is what they call BI meets AI. So in the back end, there is NVIDIA that is also supporting us, and we can provide the right environment for distributors, lovers of rapids, and we can use everything to provide a rich environment, as you saw here. Maybe it's a little bit complex, so with this flow of information, I will just say on the right, don't focus on there is 3 interfaces, but we don't care. On the right, there is 3 level of rendering. So we can have a rendering for very few users. In fact, just for the administration, to check our administration, the informatic information managers, that we are checking just if the patient is really well located, but we don't provide the information to other people. To the other people, we are providing aggregated data that is, as I said before, at the iris level, or even at the higher level, just a custom level access. It always depends on who is on the other side. If you want to provide the data to people that are working with the economic aspect of the hospital, you want to provide the data as precise, maybe aggregated at another level. If you want to provide the data to scientific, maybe you will aggregate the data at a lower or smaller level, and for them to be able to analyze it afterwards. So there is a lot of aspects of this tool, but there's some security issues that we manage here. So this is great. So I present the tool here. This is not for today, but you have to know that there's an administration interface. There are some dashboards. You can do whatever you want, and you can use the AI, machine learning things that maybe you are used to. You can deploy your model directly into it. Security is one of the main thing, and just to let you know that you can filter the data by user, by profile, have many projects side by side but isolated. So this is great for us. The project that we are building right now are representing. So the first one, that is a scatter plot. It's not a map plot is not available for everyone, as I said. You have heat maps, you have chloroplates, you have clustering. Clustering is a product of machine learning, so it's already AI with the scikit-learn or with the CUML from Rapid. So one project is the GeoCov that we follow GeoCov. So we made the aggregation with the iris. So as you see here on the map, iris is really small. It's a small piece. It's containing at least 2,000 people, but it depends on the density of the population. And then we can compare one surface to the other. And if you combine this with all the risk factors that you can have, that you have access to, you can build a strong and really good publication and information system, because here on those images, this is exactly what we can do and we want to do with Geocancer. This is GeoCode, so it's on COVID, but with Geocancer, we want to do almost the same thing with more parameters, maybe, if we can find more parameters. This is combining IRIS information with directly the INSEE information. INSEE is the let's say the structure that is providing all the statistical information and economical information for the government here and for the people in France. So this is one of example of combining patient data, medical data, with geo data that is locating the patient into the area, and with socioeconomic data. So we have this power with the work that we did, with the tool that we have, to combine all those three things and to provide a really good interface and place to work for the data scientists. This is a project for the SAMU. I won't get into this, but again, we are providing a lot of the information with the socioeconomic data and environmental data. Here with Geopharma, also we are working on geodata, but it's less with third parties information. Periscope, I won't get into it, it's too much. Here in a project called GeoImpact that is combining Air Parif. Air Parif is the agency that is grabbing and collecting every aspect of the pollution. So they are able to have some information day by day, even hour by hour, but now we don't have the data set. It's an open data, accessible with the API, but it's not reliable. We have to work on it. This is all, you understand that working with the good open data sets are our main problems. You don't have continuity. It's a good example here with the GeoImpact, because when you have data with the aircraft, is a strong ally. It's producing a lot of data, but sometimes their references or their work is changing. So, for example, they have an indicator or a good marker for 20 years, and after that they change because they evolve. This is not bad. This is good. They evolve, but they change the dataset because they are making other analysis, or they are getting other pollutants. So this is changing. And if maybe you don't know, but they just changed last January 2021. So we got a new index, a new value to follow. And this is problematic because if you work with cancerology, you have to go back 30 years because we have 30 years of data sets of patients. So we want to go back as much as we can, but sometimes we can't because the data that the Air Parif is providing us is not matching our needs. So we have a problem here. And what we want with Air Parif is to be able to see if when there is pollution alerts, maybe sometimes afterwards there is a peak of the patients coming to the emergencies services. So we want to see that. We are almost at the edge of getting the right information, but we are still working on it. And we are partners. We are building a strong partnership between them and us. So Geocancer is seminary, je sais plus comment on dit séminaire, is the colloque. We will be joined by
seminary is good, yeah.
Seminary, ouais. We'll be joined by many working on the cancer aspect with geodata, and we will share this with you. What I did as a conclusion is that this project Epidemium is really interesting for us, because if we can work on enhancing the quality of the open data, for sure we will be able to add more information to the studies. So we might be able to work on the aspect of socioeconomic data as the INSEE is providing. Maybe we can build a strong partnership with INSEE, getting a bit of motivation from them to provide more regularly data sets, because as you know, they might not provide each year data sets. So it's a problem if you want to follow the evolution of the population. FRF, as I said, we have to work with them. CNAM is an agency that is able to provide us information, but it's sensitive. But I know a project that is made it. I just saw it 2 days ago, and they are able to get the information regarding the illness with the professional activities. If you are ill because you have a disease that is declared because you are working in such a type of factory, such type of company. This is not public, but if we do the right maybe process, maybe we can access to that, and this will be very interesting to add that to cancerology. So it's not open data, but maybe we can work on that. Of course, we are thinking of adding some special data regarding temperatures and things like that. So we are just seeking if some open data are available for that. And the last but not least, we want to add some open data with the type of the structure of the housing. So if there is a very dense area, or just houses by houses with a lot of space, this is not the same kind of population. This is not the same behavior when it's crowded, and so we want to study this. So we think that the people from this challenge can help us on getting more information, better information, and maybe to build it for the upcoming time, just not this year, but many years. And we will be able to combine, as we have the power, with this new tool, with the fact that we geocoded now automatically every patient, and we hope that you will be interested in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hector. Is there a way for participants to maybe have access to your tool in any way, or is it something that is it's quite complicated yet? Or maybe you want to chat individually with people for?
Oh no, because I won't say that because security is good we can open it. This is not the way I mean it. But if someone is interested into participating, and maybe he's coming with a dataset that is enhanced or build a different way, we can integrate it. That's not a problem. This is quick, and we can check there is no risk. And maybe after that we can open him a small interface where he can connect and maybe help. That is something that maybe we can do, yes.
Okay.
Because as I said, every project is isolated from the other one.
Okay. Thank you very much for those informations, and as always, we keep pushing up the questions if there are any to different structures. So don't hesitate if you have some questions to ask them on Slack. I'll be pushing a bit the tempo with a presentation from Julien. Are you with us, Julien?
Yeah.
I'm just opening up. Yes.
Do you hear me? That's fine.
Thank you for being here. Yes, we hear you, we see you. I'm just giving you the possibility to share your screen if you have any slides.
Please, thanks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again, Hector. And Julien, the floor is yours.
Okay. Okay. My screen is freezing a bit.
We do see the PowerPoint, we do see it, just not in full screen, but it seems quite alright.
Okay, I'll try to put it in full screen. But it's very slow. Okay. Is it okay?
Still not in full screen, but...
okay, I put it in full screen.
Can deal with it if it's a problem for you. Just a little more comfortable.
It's in full screen on my laptop, so.
Okay, so do you have any precise information on those slides, or?
No, I don't know if it's not really readable. I can.
No, I think it's all right. We can read clearly, so it's okay.
Okay. Okay, so I will do it in 5 minutes because I know it's late now. Yeah, as Hector said, the consolidation of data, and especially open data, and more generally health data, is a major challenge now. And the OSIRIS initiative emerged with the era of the precision medicine. As you may know, cancer is now considered as a multitude of unique pathologies, and now it's really important to think about how we're going to share data. And for that, today, we don't have tools, we don't have specific models for data sharing in oncology. So the OSIRIS initiative emerged in this context 6 or 7 years ago within the CIRIC network, which is a network of centers labelized by INCA, which is the Institut National du Cancer, and which gather several partners such as cancer centers, but public hospital as well. And why we need a common data model today? It's really to accelerate data sharing between health institutes, to allow translational studies on large data sets, and to support clinical study as well as real-world studies. And now really to provide qualitative data sets for open data, and also data sets as a reference for AI approaches. So what's the main assets of the OSIRIS model? First, it's a national consensus between several partners in France, and we agreed on the minimal data sets for data sharing. And also, it's an original way to represent.
Sorry, Julien, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just we only see the first slide yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's perfect. Now we have the right thing. Sorry, we were just on the title. That's good now. That was good.
I just I stopped the sharing. Sorry. I'll try to do it another
Take your
way.
time. That's okay.
Is it okay now?
Perfect. And we're in full screen even, so it's
okay.
wonderful.
Right.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Yeah, so I was talking about the assets of the OSIRIS model. So the originality of the model is that the way we organize the description of the data are in a temporal way. So when people want to ask and to query and request some specific questions, scientific questions on the data, they can ask it in a temporal way. So it's really interesting for that. It's also an open source initiative, and I will come back to that further. And it's also based on terminologies based on international standards. So we don't redo the wheel. We also use, obviously, well-known international standards. So what we want to achieve with OSIRIS is really to help people in centers and health centers to converge through a model for data sharing and coming from different data sources. And these data sources could be the healthcare vendors and the custom EHR systems, as well as other tools like RedCap, which is a ECRF system where you can just collect data for clinical studies, and data warehouses. So with this kind of data coming from these sources, you can put it using this model OSIRIS, and you can then share it through different format, such as FHIR. But I expect that in the coming weeks with OMO. So the OSIRIS model is divided in two parts. The first part is a clinical model, when you can see the description of the patient with all the tumor pathology events that are coming during the disease story, but also all the analysis and the treatment that the patient has taken during all this journey. So this part is really the definition of the clinical model, and this is linked to another part, which is a omics model, and that helps representing all the genomic data associated to the clinical data. So it's another originality of the OSIRIS model, is that we are here to associate the clinical data with the omics data. So now we have a GitHub that describes the project and where people can contribute, and all the materials are really stored on this space on GitHub. So this is just a slide to show you the different classes and how the models look like. And we also finishing the HL set fire profiling of the OSIRIS model. So now we have an implementation guide for the OSIRIS model in Fire. So if we want to use OSIRIS through Fire, it's possible right now. What are our perspective? So now it's really to develop an active community around OSIRIS. That's why we are very glad to participate in this Epidemium challenge, because we have many fields to develop in the OSIRIS model, and especially on the epidemiological part. So as Hector described, the content of the geodata we would like to support this project using the OSIRIS model and to receive back maybe a description of an epidemiology module that could be added to the OSIRIS model. So we would really contribute to this project by supporting the challenges with OSIRIS, and then if it helps developing an epidemiology model, it could be very interesting for the OSIRIS group. So we also now are developing the network in France. OSIRIS is going to be used in several institutes in France, and we also keep extending the model with the national groups, especially on the part of radiomics and radiotherapy. So epidemiology could come using the Epidemium initiative. So I've been very short, I'm sorry for that, but if you have any questions, I would be glad to answer. Thank you.
Thank you for your conciseness. Thank you. Much appreciated. I will give the mic to Mehdi again. I see a question. What is the challenge precisely? That's one of the questions about challenge 2. So Mehdi, can you maybe wrap up the link between the two partners that have been presented, and how
definitely.
we can provide anything? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So for this challenge, you either in a situation to provide work on the ontology, and as OSIRIS exposed, the ideas for the search engines related to the epidemiology of cancer, getting a more consistent ontology will be really appreciated. And this is one first aspect, and I think that the best way to contribute is to get on the top of a great open source project that has already been presented, and go on GitHub, and you're free to contribute to this. And again here, and for any kind of challengers, we're here to answer the question. The second aspect of the challenge, as was presented last week, is really to help to parse the data with all this geospatial data. And when you go to any kind of open data sites, and preferably connected to CCAN framework, then it happened that two kind of data related to one item can be really difficult to get through, and the idea is to make it searchable in the best way. And as was presented by the geospatial project, if you want to go into this direction, the best thing is to connect with this team and to help improve the open data aspect as was presented by the colleague. It can be here Hector presented the CNAM kind of data or other kind of data related to this project, but you're free to go and to develop your own search tool that you could be relevant. And again, if you have questions around this, we can maybe get a special session on the search queries that we can develop here in this challenge. The fact is that there is a strong need when you go to the CCAN framework again and you want to make a basic query on epidemiological aspects. You won't get the right informations because of the data structure that is not really that easy to parse. And here we can challenge you on how to make it better and to improve the search engine related to the CCAN framework. And I would be really happy to interact on this special topic because I'm really interested in as personally and maybe on graph database that could be, or NoSQL database that could be maybe of better help to parse this data. But feel free to contact me on this topic, and also I will make the connection with the Hector team if you're interested with this kind of this part of the challenge.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm just yes, we have a few people leaving already, so I think we'll wrap up those presentations for now. Thank you so much for all the partners to have been here quite at a late time on this Friday. We will have an event, as I said, on Wednesdays, where I will share my screen so you have the next moments where we can exchange with each other. For the people that still have a short time and are able to share, we can make a short tour de table of the people being here. If you still have time and are curious about meeting a bit others, we can make a very short tour de table just after we close with the partners, because they have other events to attend to. So you can stay, if you can stay maybe 10 more minutes for the people. It's possible to meet a bit of the community. So if you have the screen sharing working, you see that we have Wednesday coming session, and then a bit more details about the project. Obviously, we will also provide events related to how much question we have about challenges, and as we say, we try to be accessible and also partners. So maybe we can host more sessions if needed, but at this moment, this is what we have yet on what's upcoming. But please feel free to ask us for more if you feel it's necessary. And also we have, of course, the Slack channel available. So thank you again for everyone, for the people that wants to share a bit more about why they are here, their interest. We can make just a 1-minute presentation of participants if you want to exchange a bit. I'm sorry I have to shorten the question time. It's quite late, but yes, thanks again for the one that has to leave. We perfectly understand. And see you on Wednesday. And of course, we have a meetup event that is already planned, thanks to Paige, that will be shooting right now. So don't hesitate also to be on that and to come to us to have more details. So thanks again. And yes, if anyone wants to, I don't know, maybe Eduardo, you are the first on the list by alphabetical order. If you just want to take 1 minute, maybe after Jessica or Lindsay, Matthew and Pascal. I don't know, or Rachel, I don't know if you still have a short time, but we'll be happy to exchange a bit more with you individually also. So if you, maybe Eduardo, if you're still here, and wants to take the floor, just to say this part will be cut. You won't be on YouTube, so if you have, I don't know, hesitations about taking the floor because of fearing of your image, we would cut this part. So yes, if you want to say something else, just raise your hand and I will give you the possibility to explain. Thanks, Hector. Thanks, Cecile. So maybe Jessica, if you're with us.
Pascal speaking, just one word. Congratulations,
yes.
Very interesting, and looking forward to the next meetings. Particularly interested in the Geocancer work, and looking forward to discussing the challenge with the authors.
Thank you, Pascal. Of course, you can join the Slack, so you also have ways to chat with others on Slack. It would be a bit more convenient, maybe. And we'll also have physical meetings. But thank you for this short introductions. And we had the opportunity to talk before. There are a lot of interesting things within Pascal's company and participation. So yes, we'll be happy to hear more of Pascal soon, probably.
Thank you.
Anyone else willing to introduce himself?
Hi.
Hi, Cecile. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
And for sure we're there.
Yeah, thank you for being here so late. And the voice was perfect. Definitely don't
No,
embarrassed. Really, it was all clear and understandable. So that was the point. So thank you so much. To all contestants, yes, if you want to take the mic for a few seconds, you still have two minutes for that. And yep. Okay, Pascal, we have your camera. And I don't know, maybe Jessica or Lindsay. Anyway, we have plenty of time for the next session, so if there's no one really volunteering, it's quite all right. Of course, it wasn't scheduled, just it's good to see you almost face to face, so we know a bit of the participants and contestants. It's always enjoyable. So feel free to take your time to describe maybe what you do on the JOGL profile also. And if we are good, I wish you a very good evening and a very good weekend. And see you next time.
Bon week-end, merci beaucoup.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Merci, Pascal.
Bye.